In this class, we're actually going to go through pretty much the sequence that got me started doing jiu-jitsu in the first place. So jiu-jitsu can be really good from a self-defense point of view, and Thiago's going to elaborate on that in a moment. But essentially, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I watched Royce Gracie in UFC 1, and he was the smallest guy in essentially a no-rules fighting competition, and he was able to take down, control, and submit all of his opponents who are much bigger and win the whole tournament. These are against expert martial artists from different disciplines. And we're basically going to go through some of the techniques that he used in your first lesson, but that's really what got me thinking, okay, I need to learn jiu-jitsu.
Well, for me, grappling is a natural skill, natural physical skill of a human being. So as natural as run, jump, and climbing. So since ever, the human being used grappling as a self-defense element. So if you think about any street fight, you can get 2 or 3 last times you see some people on the street fighting. I can bet with you the fight got somehow on clinch or on the ground. So if you don't know jiu-jitsu, if you don't know grappling, you can't defend yourself.
One of the main things to understand here is, like, why do we want to get the fight to the ground? Essentially, if I was squaring up with Thiago from a standing position, we're both in essentially the same position here. It often comes down to who's faster, more strong, more powerful. In jiu-jitsu, when we're on the ground, the positions are asymmetrical. We're no longer in the same spot. If Thiago's on his back, for example, now I can start to put pressure. I have gravity behind me to be able to throw strikes from here. And even better, if Thiago turns his back and I'm able to take his back, he's got almost no power to attack me, and his neck's exposed for me to set up the finish. So by taking the fight to the ground, we're able to get in positions where we can use much better leverage than our opponent can to form an attack or even just to control our opponent.
All right, guys, on the lesson 1, we're gonna teach you how to take the person down, control the person on the ground, first from side control through mounts, and then use a submission we call armbar. So we start quick demonstration. We're gonna drop, stand, take the person down, control the person on the ground, knee on belly, dominate the arm, mount, use the pushing to finish the armbar.
The first technique of the lesson is the double leg takedown. Okay, so this is an excellent way to take the fight to the ground. First thing we want to look at, usually it's a good idea to go for this when my right leg's forward and Thiago's right leg's forward. Okay, there's other options when things are different. Okay, first thing you want to do, get out of their ability to strike you by dropping your level. Okay, so here, if Thiago was able to strike here, I need to drop my level here quite quickly, and then I close the distance as quick as possible. Okay, so we're here, I drop my level and I step so that my foot is in line with Thiago's foot here, and then I'm gonna drop that same knee to the ground, okay, like so. All right, I grab both of the legs around the knees and I have my head looking up. If you look down and they start to push and sprawl, you start to lose position. Okay, so we're gonna have our head up nice and high. So if he tries to push my head down, it's difficult to do. Okay, from here, my left leg is going to step forward. I use that to drive with my head to take Thiago sideways while holding his legs so he can't balance. I'm going to come down all the way to the ground, and we're going to land in side control here where I'm across the body of Thiago. Right? We drop our level, step, the same knee goes to the ground here. I'm going to grab around the knees, step up, and then drive us sideways using your head to push. So not straight forward, don't land on your head, sideways, and we land in side control from here. The common mistake I see people make with this technique is usually with the footwork. Okay, it's actually the same leg that steps as the knee goes down. I often see people do this. Now I can't drive anymore. Okay, I want to step and continue that forward motion. Right, then we step up and we complete the technique.
So guys, there you go. After the Lachlan demonstrated the double leg, we land on that position we call side control, right? Usually that position is a position of controlling, because you already passed the line of the legs, that he can manage the distance and keep me inside the range. So what we call guard, right? So we're gonna be working guard in the next classes, next lessons. So the first thing we need to understand, after the takedown, I already land off this control. So this is already good for you to control the person, because at the moment he can't use the legs to defend himself. So I'll be chest on chest on him, using my weight and the gravity power to help me to keep stabilizing the situation, right? Usually here, a good control is always to use your shoulder on the neck, that we can have the neck control as well. So that hand goes straight on the armpit, so I pinch the guy to me and I start to use the weight of my shoulder on the neck. It doesn't make the person usually tap for choke or feel himself choked, but it's a good pressure and make him be worried about the neck, opening space for you to do other things. So now I start to use the knee on belly. The knee on belly is an interesting, because this is kind of half mount and was developed for MMA exactly because people couldn't use the knees on the concrete. So if you're in a situation of self-defense, the knee on belly is much more appropriate for control than the mount, because you can't damage your knees on the ground, okay? So from here, what I will do, controlling Lachlan, I lock my other hand in the other side to avoid him hip escape. So I'll be posturing and I'll put my knee on the stomach. So as soon as I put my knee on the stomach, I have my weight all on that knee, right? From here, I will do the mount. So one thing here is important, Lachlan usually, he will try to block my knee, right? So I use this hand to open space, unblock my knee, and keep my way free to the mount. So I keep using my pressure on the shoulder, and I get the position straight to the mount. Okay, so sitting on the stomach, we have what we call classic mount. Okay guys, doing the same situation here, a little bit in a real speed. So be grabbing, be posting, I'll be pressing the arm, and I'll be mounting, coming straight to the classic mount.
Now we have the mount, one of the best positions to get to in Jiu-Jitsu. I have a massive advantage over Thiago here. In a self-defense point of view, I can strike and I can keep my head pretty much out of range of Thiago striking me, while I can actually reach him. I have gravity on my side and he's working against gravity. A very good position to work from. In this one, we're going to take advantage of a very common reaction someone does when they don't know the right way to escape from here, which is they try to push you away, which is actually a really bad idea, because it exposes the arm for the armbar, which is what we're going to take. All right? So usually we get to mount and the person starts to push away. So all we're going to do, this is a really nice fast way to get the armbar. There's other ways to get it as well. This is a fast, quick and easy way to approach when someone is pushing you. I'm going to put both hands on Thiago's chest and lean my weight so that my hips are light, okay? So you can see while my weight's, while it's good to control with my legs, I can't move very well. When I put my weight on my hands, I can now start to move my legs, right? I slide my knee next to the head, so I slide my hips up, knee next to the head, foot behind the armpit, and I swing my leg over the head, right? From here, I make sure the elbow is above my hips, okay? So you don't want to do this by lifting your hips really high and losing the elbow. You want to do this with your hips nice and low. I pull my heels towards my butt to keep everything tight, grab the wrist, thumb pointed upwards, curling tight, and I extend the arm for the arm. Again, have the mount, Thiago is pushing, hands on the chest, put all your weight here, slide up high, hook behind the shoulder, swim over the top, and fall down for the arm bar with your knees pinching tight. Once more fast. One extra thing with this. If you're a lot heavier than your opponent and you want to practice this, sometimes you tell them to put one hand on their chest just so you can push on their arm. Sometimes if you're a lot heavier and you put all your weight on their chest, they might feel a little uncomfortable. Okay, so we can go like this as well and do the same technique. So for the finish of the armbar, basically what you want is, you want the hand, the little finger, attached to your chest pretty much, thumb pointing up. And I'm gonna use my hips to do it. So I fall back as far as I comfortably can, and then my hips lifting up towards the roof is actually what, so it's like my legs and my body weight doing it. It's not a muscle strength thing. I'm not trying to pull the arm tight. That's all staying tight here, and my hips lifting up drives the pressure into the elbow.